What's going on? Today is Monday, and as you guys know, every single Monday we come at you, we spit fire, we spit the truth, and nothing but the truth. Today we're going to talk about how to build a team of insurance sales guys, okay? I have my friend Tammy here. She's built a great team out in Atlanta, Georgia, right?
Yes.
Atlanta, Georgia. How long have you been doing insurance and insurance sales?
I'm gonna be 10 years in October.
So she started when she was 2 years old. Just kidding, right? So insurance sales. So let's talk about this. So tell me the biggest challenge you had or have had in the past when it came to hiring insurance salespeople.
Good question. The biggest challenge that I had in the past or currently have is just the mindset of individuals. You know, you have to find the right individuals because not everybody's built for sales, but everybody could do it.
Explain. I like that.
So I always tell everybody, I use me as an example, right? I'm not a salesperson, but every day we sell ourselves, right? So it's everybody thinks being a salesperson, you got to learn how to sell, but it's not in reality. You just got to be able to communicate with people. So at the same time, if you're willing to learn, to be coachable, you have a great attitude, and you have a good work ethic, you could do sales.
So let me ask you this. When it comes to building a sales team, what has been the most challenging thing for you that you've overcome to learn how to build that sales team? Because a lot of people, they think they're really good at sales, but when it comes to building a sales team, they freaking suck.
You got to reflect on yourself. You got to be a good leader. You can't just want to have a good sales team and you're not a good leader. Being a good leader meaning that you have to show them how it's done before you could just tell them how it's done. So show and tell.
So let me ask you this. So one of the things that I've learned when it came to building sales teams is that you have to be the leader that's leading the pack. So when do you stop leading?
Never.
Say it again?
Never.
So you never stop leading?
Always. A true leader will always lead. You're not a boss. You're a leader. So you're always going to lead.
So look, let me ask you this. Why insurance? Why not something else? Why did you choose insurance?
It was what was introduced to me at the time, and I liked it. So I stayed with it.
Okay, explain.
Why did I stay with
Yeah,
insurance?
like why insurance? So many people quit. I know so many people that started insurance and they
Residual
quit.
income, baby.
When you say residual income, explain that because everyone hears that. Oh, yeah, passive income, residual income. What does that mean?
So residual income means for all of the hard work that you're doing when you start, you're going to continue to collect a residual income.
But that's
So
only if the
let's just
customer
say-
keeps paying their policy.
Correct. So if you're doing right by the client, you're not worried whether, your residual income is going to grow because you're not worried about what's in it for me. You're worried about what's in it for them. So you really are doing what's right by the client. You're giving them the right products where they could afford, the products that they need, not what you think they need,
Now,
but what they really need.
are you selling life insurance, like whole life insurance, or are you selling the regular insurance, like whatever that's called? I forget what it's called. I don't have insurance, by the way.
Oh, that's not good.
I know. I got harpoons
We
here.
got to change that.
So there's regular life insurance. I forget what it's called.
There's whole life.
There's whole life,
term life,
and there's term life. There you go.
and then there's accidental. There's so many different types of life insurance you could get.
There's insurance on insurance. Just kidding.
Yes, so there is. There's riders, there's options, there's so many things that you could do when it comes to insurance. But the two major types of life insurance you could get is whole life and term life. Whole life is permanent for the rest of your life. Term life is temporary, just like it sounds. Another characteristic of a whole life policy, it grows cash and loan value that you could borrow against your policy. And whole life has a fixed premium. Generally, whole life is more expensive. It's the most expensive life insurance policy you could get. Where to term life is temporary, just like it sounds.
But once it's expired, you don't die. You lost all that money.
Well, yeah, but you only get it for temporary needs. So you got to understand what you're getting insurance for, right? So are we talking about sales or are we talking about insurance?
No, I'm just curious. Listen, when I do,
I could get into it all day.
I get curious because I like to understand the world a little bit better. And a lot of times, like when my brain just, if I have a question, I get interested.
love it.
So I always hear people say whole life, this life, da 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 da. So like, what's the purpose? Like, you know what? Sell me insurance.
You got it.
I don't got insurance right now. Let's see if you can sell me.
You got it. So what's the difference between whole and term? So we talked a little bit about the characteristics of whole life, right? Permanent, cash value, most expensive, premiums never change. So from the day you get it till the day you die, it stays the same, right? Whole life insurance. As far as term life insurance, temporary coverage, X amount of years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, whichever term time you want to choose, right? Premiums will increase when the term is up. If you want to continue the term, right? There is no cash value, but it's generally the cheapest policy you could get. Now, you might ask yourself, why would I get one versus the other?
Well, just in case because you know you're going to die within 30 years, that's the only reason why you would get that one.
Well, not necessarily.
The other one is more for advantages to pull money out. or
Either
borrow money
way.
against it.
Either way, because remember, you could either use life insurance as something that you could use while you're alive, or you could use it towards your death when you die, right? So when it comes to insurance, you got to understand what it's good for. So from the day you're born to the day you die, we all have a need for funeral and final expense protection because we're all going to die. Do you agree with me?
100%.
100%, right? We're all going to die. So no matter what, everybody needs a whole life policy. Now you might ask yourself, why would somebody need a term to add to their whole life, right? The key point is add. You don't want to get a whole life policy without you don't want to get a term policy without a whole life policy because you're not servicing yourself, you're just servicing yourself. So you get a term policy for temporary needs, for temporary coverage. Like for example, if you have a home, you just bought a house, you have a $300 or $400 or $500,000 mortgage, right? What happens if you die before the mortgage is paid up? You have it for the next 30 years.
So let me ask you this. I'm a sales guy. I don't believe in life insurance. Can I sell it?
Yes.
How?
But why would you not believe in life insurance?
Let's say you're against it. Let's say the salesperson is against selling life insurance.
So why? Why?
They believe that having cash or having a business, having, whatever in their money in their stocks is a much better alternative than having insurance.
They're all great alternatives to do, but having insurance is a necessity. When people change that mindset of, hey, I don't need life insurance, well, matter of fact, you do. Let me ask you a question. You have a phone, right? You have a smartphone? What kind of phone do you have?
Android.
Okay, do you have insurance on your phone?
No.
What about your car?
I'm forced.
Why?
Because if I can't get into an accident, I'm going to get screwed.
Well, a lot of people drive without insurance.
You're not allowed to, though. It's illegal.
But they still do it, right? Okay, what about your house? Do you have insurance on your house?
No, I rent.
So you don't have renter's insurance? They don't force you to do renter's insurance? Well, you got to make sure that you have insurance. No, that was a good one.
No, I really don't have insurance. The only insurance I have is car insurance. I don't even have health insurance.
You don't have health insurance?
I really don't.
Do you
I know,
not
I'm
believe
crazy.
in it, or do you not?
I
why
look
do
at
you
it this
not have
way.
it?
As an example for health insurance, it's going to cost me like $600 a month. That's like $7,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the chance of me using that policy for $7,000 a year, I mean, right now, like $7,000. I'm always like, I'm going to get it, I'm going to get it. I never fucking get it. But if I get sick, I have cash to kind of take care of myself. Now, obviously, if I get super, super sick, I'm really fucked.
Mm-hmm.
But probably I should get health insurance, right?
Well, life insurance is not for you. It's for the people you leave behind you. You're not married right now, right? Do you have any kids? No. So at your age, you're probably not thinking about life insurance.
Yeah, the only
because
time
you're
you
not
think
thinking about who am I going to leave it to.
So let me ask you this. You got sales guys that are on the phone banging on deals, right? They're banging all the time. And they don't believe in the product. Can they still sell it?
I don't have people that don't believe in the product, but yes, I think you can.
Why?
I think you could sell it.
So let me ask
Because
you
the
this.
product sells itself.
Is it hard to sell life insurance, in your opinion?
No.
What's the hardest part about insurance in general? Like, why does so many people quit? I want to know, why does so many people quit sales in the life insurance? What are the biggest things
I
people
don't
quit?
think they quit sales, and I don't think they quit life insurance. I think they quit themselves. They don't trust in their ability to be able to do it. Anything you do in life, whether it's sales, whether it's nails, whether it's a hair salon, if you don't quit, you're going to succeed at one point or another, right? It doesn't take one try to create a light bulb. It took 1,000 tries before you were able to create light, right? So at the same concept, you have to think of it like that. In life, if you don't quit, you're going to eventually succeed, whatever it is that you're doing.
Let me ask you a question. How long have you guys been married?
Right now, 12 years.
12 years. And I'm just curious. What is it? How does you're an entrepreneurial woman?
Yeah.
And he's an entrepreneurial husband. How the hell did you guys make it work in a sales industry, sales business, building sales team, and still manage? You have 4 kids. How did you guys manage to make that work?
He has his strengths and I have mine. He has his weaknesses and I have mine. And I know what his strengths is and I know what my strengths is, and we just make it work. So if I'm not good at something, he's good at it, so he does it.
Yeah, but 12 years, that's incredible. I mean, most people can't even last for 12 fucking days.
Was it easy? No.
So, okay, what are the challenges? How can you relate the challenge of building a sales team to building a family?
That's a very good question. So it's just like in a marriage, right? Everything that you do in life requires work, requires communication. So if we're comparing it to a marriage, the one thing I love about our marriage is that no matter what we disagree on, we sit down and we talk about it. We communicate, right? So, and we don't agree on everything. It's not a secret.
No, it's not normal to agree on everything.
Right,
Okay.
we don't agree on everything, but we sit down, we talk about it, and we come into an agreement. We compromise. We come into an agreement. Okay, here's what we're gonna do, and we just do it. And the same way you have to do in business. It can't be just one way. There's different ways of doing anything in life, and you gotta compromise. It's very simple.
But how did you know he was the one? Like, how did you guys know that this is the person that I want to spend the rest of my life with? Like, because I'm single. I'm looking for my one, right? How do I know that this person is the one? Like, how did you know? Did you know later on? Did you know the first week, the first month, the first year? Like, or like, how did that happen?
So I'll tell you our story if you have time, but I'll tell you.
No, I
want
want to hear. I want to hear.
Good. So when me and my husband dated, first of all, I didn't want my husband, not because of who he is as an individual. It was just me being stupid and clueless. Like, oh, he's not my type. Swipe. You know, kind of like how they do these days. Swipe, not my type, right?
Swipe left on that one.
Didn't even know who he was, didn't know his personality, his mindset, none of it. But I knew what I wanted in a man, in a husband, in a partner. I knew what I wanted, right?
Yeah.
And when I got to know my husband, and how I got to know my husband, it's a funny story, but I'll tell you in private. But how I got to know my husband is private, but I'll tell you in a different time. But when we got to know each other, one thing I really loved about my husband is persistency.
So you basically were rejecting him.
I did.
For how long?
6 months.
Wait, what?
Yes.
So for 6 months, he was pursuing you.
Yes.
Now, was it once a month, once a week? How was it?
Whenever. It
So
wasn't
random.
random. It was
It wasn't weird. It was like random calls, texts, things, trying to figure it out.
Yep.
Okay.
It wasn't like.
And were you
precise.
ignoring him 100%, or were you just replying in a very cold way?
Not asking him in return to show him that I'm not interested.
Okay.
But not being rude at the same time because I don't want to be.
Disrespectful, but you kind of like answered, but didn't answer. You kind of like, but okay.
Answered, but didn't ask him back to show him I'm not interested.
I love this. So what
Right.
made him be so persistent for 6 months straight? I mean, that's kind of like defeating a little bit. Like,
so let me
you're
tell
trying
you
to...
the story. I didn't want to say it, but I will say it. Okay, so I was seeing.
It's gonna inspire some people.
I was seeing his friend at that time. Okay, we were dating.
Did you know? Did he know?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
So listen. So this is a good story. So
I
I
love
was
it.
seeing his friend.
Guys, be careful. Watch your boys, man. Watch your boys.
No.
Just
you know,
kidding,
in our
just kidding.
culture, we
No, I
date to
get it, I
get
get it.
married, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
was in the dating life, right? So I was seeing this guy who was his best friend at that time. And we went on a couple of dates. And, you know, with this guy, he's a nice guy, but he wasn't my type. He was very quiet, in person. And I'm a very talkative person, right? I like to talk. I like to interact. And he was very quiet. But when I speak with him over the phone, we could carry a conversation. We could, you know.
You're just a different person in person.
Completely. Two different people, right? So me being the honest person and the blunt person that I am, I told him, listen, I don't think it's going to work out. You feel like two different people to me. Like you're like this over the phone, like this in person. And right away he wanted to introduce me to his best friend, to my husband.
Got it.
And I was like, no, because in my mind, it's like, what is this, pass the girl around? No, like we were going out, but I wasn't going to go see your best friend. Like, that's weird. And then my husband pursued me for 6 months.
Because he was, okay, I get it. So he basically said,
So
yo,
he
check
knew
it
who I
out.
was, but little did I know, the whole time I was talking to this guy on the phone, I was really talking to my husband.
Wait.
Yes.
Explain. So the guy was telling him what to say?
No, my husband was talking to me on the phone.
Wait, what?
Yes. Through text.
Yo, man, did you hear this shit? Yo, did you hear this shit? This is crazy. So she was talking to his old boy, right? And she thought she was talking to her friend for like a couple of months or whatever it was, dating on the phone. But by the time she met in person, it's a completely different person, right? So long story short, she found out that she was actually talking to him the whole time on the phone. It wasn't actually his friend.
Yep.
Isn't that crazy?
And that's what made him pursue it, because he knew who I was as an individual.
Well, my question is this: why did he do that? Why was he on the phone?
He was helping his boy out. I guess boys do that, right?
I've never heard of that, but that's gangster right there.
Yeah, he was
That is
helping his
amazing.
boy out. He's like, and then he was.
So he was trying to help
me-
him out, but he ended up falling in love, basically.
So basically, how he pursued it, he was trying to convince me that his best friend is the guy from me, and he's a bad guy, and he's not really a good badass. And I'm like, I'm not looking for a badass. I'm not looking for that. And I said, listen, if your friend wants to talk to me, he could talk to me for himself. You don't need to talk to me for him. And long story short, one day I posted a message on Facebook saying all men are the same. And he messages
Oh,
me and he
shit.
says, "When you gonna let a real man take you out?" So I responded with a smiley face, and then that's it. And his best friend ended up calling me like, "Oh, hey, let's hang out Saturday night." And we end up hanging out, and he brings my husband with him. And I was so mad. I was such a witch with the capital B. Okay, I was very, very rude. Okay, I was not nice. I was saying hi to his friend. I was saying hi to my husband, and right in front of my husband, I was like, "What is he doing here? Like, why is he here? I told you I'm not interested, right?" And the whole time, my husband is like talking to me and asking me
So he
questions.
softened you up.
No, not at all. I was a witch
You were
with
angry.
a capital B. Okay, I was very, very mean. I don't even know what he liked me. I don't know what went in his head, but no, I was really, really mean to him. And we were sitting down with a lot of friends, but he knew that I was just fronting. Like he knew that this is not me because he already knew me through his friends. So he was just like, yeah, whatever. You're gonna be my wife. Watch. But literally, we dated for 2 months. He put a ring on it. We got married in 6 months. 12
Wait.
years later, 4 kids.
Wow.
Successful.
2 months dating and then six
Yeah.
months. Wow, I love it. That's
Yeah.
amazing. So let me ask you a question. What did you learn from that process of him being so persistent and pursuing you and stuff like that? Like, what do you tell the single guys that are entrepreneurs? Because he's a hustler.
Yep.
He's an entrepreneur. He's not some Joey Schmoey down the block.
Yep.
And he's done a lot of great things. So what would you tell someone that's actually building their business, that's single, that's looking for the one? Do you recommend them to be as persistent as him? Because nowadays the girls are different. This is 12 years ago.
Yeah.
So 12 years ago, they didn't have Tinder, Schminder, all this bullshit apps. Like it was a different world. Nowadays, like the guys in they always say Miami is the worst place to date. I don't know if that's true. I mean, what do you tell the guys that are entrepreneurs are looking for someone to marry? Like, what would you tell them? For a man's perspective, what would you tell them to do?
So you gotta really know what is it that you're looking for in a woman. First of all, write yourself a list. What qualities do you want a wife or your partner or your significant other to have? And then check off the box. But at the same time, don't be afraid of rejection. Just because the person that you think, okay, she has the qualities that I need, is not giving you the time and day, it does not mean that you stop. Some women like to be chased or like that feeling, and at the same time, they don't want to come off as too easy. Like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna be too easy with you.
Yeah, but there's a difference between pursuing and there's a difference between chasing. Chasing is when you're chasing, and it's like
Without
you
getting
feel like a
anything in
dog.
return. Yeah, no, you
But
can't.
pursuing is a little bit different because you got to be
Yeah.
tactful. Because I think if you chase as a man in the wrong way, it makes you look weaker.
Weaker.
But if you pursue the right way, like Grant Cardone was talking about for 12 months, he's sitting there banging in phone calls to get his wife on the first date. I don't know if I would do that. That's just not my style. Like a couple little pursuing here and there is fine, but
Yeah.
after a while, I was like, dude, where's my reciprocation?
Yeah, you know what really, and speaking of that, you know what really made me even want my husband a little bit more is when he rejected me. And I'll tell you when. So when we were going on, he lost his job as we were dating. Like a month into our dating, he lost his job. And he calls me and he tells me, "Oh, I can't take you out the way I want to. And I can't spend what I want to." And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, "Oh, this guy thinks I'm a gold digger. Like, what?" I'm like, "All right, you know what? You're going to break up with me over this?" And I got really mad. I got really upset. I'm like, "You're going to break up with me because of that?" I'm like, "I'll take you out. We'll go out. I'll take you out. Let's get to know each other." And I think in my head is what really made me say, okay, he stopped chasing me at that point. Now it's my turn. The roles kind of
Whoa,
like
I gotta hear
switched.
this. So, what do you think about the woman paying for the dates, like in that situation? Like, what?
I don't think anything wrong with that.
So, let's say a woman likes a guy. Should she be paying for the dates?
All the dates, no. But I don't think there's anything wrong with it. If you guys are in a relationship, there's nothing
But what
wrong
about
with
the
it.
woman that says, "Oh, femininity, 100%, he has to pay for everything"? What do you say about that? Your opinion?
In my opinion, I don't think that's a wifey material. In my opinion.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I love it. So, but let me ask you this. So, what did you learn in this process of 12 years of being in a relationship with someone that's an entrepreneur, business person? What are some things that you think that women can learn that are watching this on how to treat the man? So, because there's ups and downs in a relationship.
Exactly.
Not because of ups and downs in the actual relationship, but life has ups and downs, which affects how you feel, which can sometimes you can bounce it on the other person that you're with 24/7, right? So, what would you tell the women that are in a relationship with an entrepreneur, a business person? What can they focus on to make it easier for the man to make them love it? Because some girls act like witches with the B, right?
Yeah.
So what would make it easier for them to treat the woman the right way in case there's ups and downs in the business or ups and downs in their personal life? Like, what would you tell that woman?
Elaborate that question one more time and try to.
Yeah, so like for
minimize it.
example, there's a lot of ups and downs in business.
Okay.
Husband comes home, he's pissed off at work, shit is not going the right way.
Right.
He maybe lets off steam onto the person he's with all the time, which is
Right.
the wife.
Happens all the time.
So what would you tell a woman that has to deal with the ups and downs? Because entrepreneurship is not like fucking amazing rocket ship all the way to the top. There's a lot of great days, there's very high highs and very low lows.
Yep.
How do you deal with that as a woman?
So for me, the reason why I'm able to even deal with it is because my husband actually sat me down and we talked about it. We have the same goals, we have the same visions, we understand what we want from our lives. And if he comes at me in a aggressive way, I tell him, hey, check yourself. Like, let's calm down. Let's talk through this.
Let's process this.
Yeah, and it's all about communication. So you really have to communicate.
Yeah, but I hear this shit all the time. Communicate. What does that mean? Communication, right?
Understand one another. So like you can't. It can't be just one way, right? It can't just be like, okay, I'm the woman, you're the man, and if you're pissed off, you can't dish your garbage on me. And if I'm pissed off, I can't dish. I have to trust you as my husband that I could come to you and be like, that shit happened to me today, blah, 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 blah. And you have to take it. Like, you have to be able to take it. Same with my husband. If he comes at me, da, la, 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 I take it. Okay, babe, let's calm down. Let's talk about it. Because if you don't have that, they're going to go to someone else to talk about their problems. And that's where all the problems happen in any relationship. In any marriage.
So you keep it within the household.
Everything stays between me and my husband. Anything he wants to do in
Now, are the kids feeling that, or usually they kind of usually it's done when the kids are not there?
sometimes it's not controllable,
Correct.
right? Sometimes things happen.
Can escalate, yeah.
But for the most time, all the time, most of it, it's
You're protecting.
private. Yeah.
Got it. So that's
Always
between
private.
you and him figuring it out.
Yeah, not
I
even
love it.
parents. Don't get your parents involved. Don't get brothers, sisters, nobody involved. You
I love
and your
it.
husband.
One last question, and then we're gonna end it. For someone that's looking for the right person, once again, how did you know he was the right? Like, how did you know? Like, what were the signs? What were the feelings? Like, you knew this is the person I want to spend the rest of my life.
There was no feelings. I'm not gonna lie. In the beginning, it's not a feeling. I think
So what is it?
marriage is more than love. It's not just that lovey bubbly, but no, it's you really gotta see yourself with this person for the rest of your life. So it's not just a feeling, because feelings come and go. It's more than just a feeling. You gotta really understand each other and say, okay, do I see myself growing old with this guy? Can we understand life the same way and walk through paths of life the same way? So I don't per se think it's a feeling. I think love comes and goes, and it's more than love.
It's a commitment, you're
way
saying.
more than love. It's family, right? When you have a child, and you will know when you have your kid, it's unconditional love, right? So it's above love. It's more than like you will run in front of a bullet for that person, and I don't think love has anything to do with it, because I could love you as a person, but I won't run in front of a bullet for you. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I'll do it for my husband in a heartbeat.
Got it. No, that makes a lot of
It's
sense.
way more than love. It's not just La La Land.
Do you think that nowadays, 2024, there's hope for the people that are single to be in healthy relationships, or do you think the world's already fucked right now? Based on what you guys see from the outside.
It's hard to say because of social media. It's
There's
very hard
there's
to
no
say.
hope. God, I'm just kidding.
No, there is hope, but it's hard to say because of social media. You just gotta have God in your life. When you have God in your life, you're gonna walk the right path. It's very simple. You don't
I
have
love
to
it.
be religious. You just gotta have God in your life. Very simple.
I love it. Listen, we appreciate you guys. You guys drove all the way out here. Spend some time. I love these kind of questions because I ask questions that help me kind of get closer to my aspirations, my goals, my dreams. So it helps me see things in a better light. And I grew up in a very crazy household with domestic violence, all this kind of bullshit. So I never saw a healthy, happy relationship.
As did I. Neither did I.
Right, so you have to figure it out. So to be
Yeah.
married for 12 years is amazing because, most people can't even stay married for freaking 12 weeks or 12 months, right? So the fact that you guys did it for 12 plus years and going with 4 children, that's incredible. And a successful business, making tons of fucking money with sales guys and all this shit, I respect that. So anyway, we appreciate you guys. If you love this kind of do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like the channel. We'll see you guys in the next video.